Good afternoon, everyone. My part this afternoon is to introduce to you our speaker. Our speaker was born in Bacolod City, Negros Occidental. He answered the call of God and enrolled at Central Philippine Union Conference. I'm sorry, Central Philippine Adventist College, that is known as IPAC, where he earned a course of Bachelor of Theology in the year 1997. In the year 2000, he was called to serve as a ministerial intern at Kawayan District, Negros Occidental. Eventually, in 2006, he was ordained in the gospel ministry, and on the same year, he was elected as a youth ministries director. And in the year 2015, he was elected as Central Philippine Union Conference Youth Ministries Director and continues to serve until the present. He is passionate about empowering and training youth for leadership and mission. He is married to Maria Socorro Salvacion Sanchez for the past 20 years, and their union has been blessed with three kids. The names are Michaela Gale, Kate Ariel, and Bone Daniel. Our speaker for this afternoon is no other than Pastor Bonjan Sanchez, the Central Philippine Union Conference Youth Director.
Thank you so much, Shikaina, for a kind of introduction. And it is my great honor to take part in this training of our SYL leaders. And I believe that this is a pioneering work in the SYL for Southern Asia Pacific Division. And I'm grateful that Pastor Ron had initiated this program so that we can propagate the SYL leadership in the SSD. Thank you also our staff that help Pastor Ron, and also to our leaders in SSD who are attending and are aspirant to become SY, or rather senior youth leaders. So without further ado, my part this afternoon is to bring to you the seminar number 5, which is entitled Mentoring. And I would like to share to you my screen, the topic about mentoring, ownership, and empowerment. So without further ado, I would like to give to you a short lecture, and I think I have only 30 minutes to discuss this one. By about probably 2:40, I will be able to finish this discussion, or this seminar number 5. So the title is Mentoring. Now, to give the introduction about the situation of our church, our young people comprising our church membership is about 60 to 90%. According to our material, 60 to 90%. It means majority of the members in the church are young people. However, the problem is the church leadership gave little space for young people in the church. I don't mean that it is a physical space, but a space for leadership, for running the program, and for whatever significant rule in the church. And the majority of the one leading the church are still the adult. And so with this, the result is, I think the young people feel that they don't have the ownership of the church. That some of the young people look the church as if they are just visitor in the church. And so young people are less and less interested in the activity of the church, and they lose the commitment, and we lost our young people in the church. And that's why we have a significant question as far as church membership is concerned, that why our young people are living in the church. probably because of the lack of this topic that we are discussing about mentoring. So the seminar number 5 have several objectives. First, to understand the need to pass it on, to pass on the leadership baton to our younger people in the church, and know the scriptural basis of involving the youth in the development of the church, and know the steps to follow in the process of utilizing young people for better result. So the discussion this afternoon will hover around the objectives that we have set this presentation. So we will be talking about what the Bible says about young people in the biblical time, and the counsels of the Bible regarding the participation of our young people. Psalms 144:12, it says, "Let our sons in their youth be as grown-up plants, and our daughters as corner pillars, fashioned as for a palace." So you will see that the strength is the glory of our young people, as stated in Proverbs 20:29. Now, the culture of Israel before, in the biblical times, they see the young people as equal to the leaders. In fact, at the age of 12, they consider their youngs as adult at the age of 12. And the priesthood would start at the age of 30. It means that the leadership in the past are given the opportunity to young people. So in Timothy 5, 1 to 12, 1 Timothy 5, 1 to 12, it says that treat young men as brothers, older women as mothers, and younger women as sisters with absolute purity. So we could see further in 1 John 2:14. It says that I have written to you, young men, because you are strong, and the word of God dwells in you, and you have conquered evil. So we could see that the Bible really support the capability, the strength of young men and women to participate in the work of the church. That our young people have great spiritual potential in participating in the affair of the church. And that's why we give emphasis on the participation of our youth. In the writings of Ellen White, in Spirit of Prophecy, it says that let not the youth be ignored. Let them share in the labor and responsibility. Let them feel that they are part of the act in helping and blessing others. So Ellen White is addressing to the church that our young people should not be ignored, because they can take a great part in helping the community and reaching other people for Jesus Christ. So sometimes, because of some negligence in the leadership in the church, as Ellen White stated in Pastoral Ministry 275, it says that very much has been lost to the cause of God because of inattention to young ministers of the gospel should form a happy, attention to the young ministers of the gospel should form a happy acquaintance with the youth in their congregation. So it means that our pastors and working for the advancement of the gospel should never neglect the young people in the church, that they should have, Ellen White says, happy acquaintance with the young people. There is a need of mentors. Gospel Workers 209, it says, We should seek to enter into the feeling of the youth, sympathizing with them in their joys and sorrow, their conflicts and victories. Jesus did not remain in heaven away from the sorrowing and sinful. He came down to this world that he might become acquainted with the weakness. So, the writings of Ellen White, the spirit of prophecy, is giving us emphasis on the importance of the participation and the training of our young people. Especially, we need mentors that will teach and educate our young people to become future leaders. So, Ellen White further says in Messages to Young People, God wants the youth to become men of earnest mind, to be prepared for action in his noble work and fitted to bear responsibilities. So the church attitude should be, we call that a welcoming attitude to our young people. As David Wilkerson says, young people are a part of church today. The problem when our young people doesn't feel that they are part of the church. And he further says, but all the leaders of tomorrow. It means today they are part of the church, but later on they will constitute the leadership of the church. All of them will become the leaders, the future leaders of the church. And that's why we should have an attitude of listening to them, and also open ourselves and our mind in learning from our young people, because we believe that young people are, innovative. Many of them think outside the box, and many of them are creative thinker, and they have all the spirit and strength to do the work of God. So that's why the young people are very important part of our church. Another one, so give them to gain experience, give them responsibility in the church. That is the council of our church and our material, involving them in the life of the church. It means that our young people, we can see them as part of the operation of the church life. And another one, helping them to grow in knowledge. We educate them of the missions and the ministry that our church is doing, and give them opportunities to take initiative. It means let their mind operate and take some creative and innovative way of running the church, and give them way where they can take the initiative to run the church. And another one, empower them. It means that we give them authority. Implement program with them and for them. It's not just we create a program, but we create a program together with them, and not only together with them, but it is intended for them as well. So now we will come to the mentoring process, because we will be talking about mentoring. So the question is, what is mentoring? The common definition of mentoring is this, that mentoring is an intentional relationship that is created between a less experienced person and an experienced one. So the experienced person thus become a growth model for inexperienced one. So we can find some of the definition with the other writers, especially David Clutterbuck says that mentoring is a more experienced, or rather a mentor is a more experienced individual willing to share knowledge with some less experience in a relationship of mutual trust. What makes mentoring different? I think the term there is creating a mutual relationship with the mentee, or from mentor to the mentee? What makes it different from the rest of teaching method is that it is established with a relationship. Now, let me give you the origin of the word mentor. I tried to search in the internet, and I found out that the origin that mentor, in the book of the Odyssey, mentor was a son of Alcimos. It means the word mentor originates from the Greek. And in his old age, mentor was a friend of Odysseus, who placed mentor and Odysseus' foster brother Eumaeus in charge of his son Telemachus and of Odysseus' palace when Odysseus left for the Trojan War. We will not discuss, but we can see that the word mentor originated in the Hellenistic culture, or rather Greek. It's a Greek word. Now, how about the biblical mentoring? We could see popular biblical mentoring. First example is Moses and Joshua, the next line leader. When Moses accepted the call to lead the children of Israel, he was not informed about how long he would be holding the office. He was not given the exact day when he would retire from his post. But Moses started to mentor, to teach Joshua, because he believed that Joshua will be the next line of leader. Now, another one is a very popular story regarding Elijah and Elisha, where the mantle of leadership was transferred to Elisha, given by Elijah. It's a wonderful story, but I will not discuss because you know the story well. So Elijah transferred, and for several years they went together, and Elijah was the mentor and Elisha was the mentee. Another classic example in the biblical mentoring is Paul and Timothy. It's a father to a son relationship. So you know the story about Timothy, who joined with Paul in his second missionary journey. So there was an established relationship, and Paul saw Timothy as his son, and Timothy grew and became one of the popular and effective missionary during his time. But I think the most popular, and I think we should model this mentoring, is Jesus to his disciples. And when he called the disciples, "Come follow me and I will make you fishers of men," it is not just an ordinary call. It is an intentional call for future leadership. I would like to cite, because I believe that the method of Christ's mentoring is the most effective. And we can see that in Mark chapter 3, verse 13 to 14. It says, "And he goeth up into the mountain for spiritual," I believe it's, he prayed there for spiritual preparation. "And he called unto him whom he would, and they came up unto him." So there was a calling. I call that intentional call. And he ordained the 12, or appointed as his own team or his own group, that they should be with him. It means that he would mentor them, and that he might send them forth to preach, so that he can commission them. So we can see the model. The Christ model is this: that first he has this spiritual preparation, and then he called the participants of his team, and then appoint that team to be his own group as mentees. And then he mentored the group, And later on, as he mentored the group for more than 3 years, he commissioned them for preaching the whole world. So I believe that this is the most effective model for mentoring, because Christ's method is the best method so far. As far as we know, it is very effective for the ministry and for our church. Now, sometimes we have misconception about mentoring, but I would like to stress that when we make a coaching, it's not actually mentoring, because coaching is usually a task and performance basis. So the rule of the coach is to develop skills and give feedback on what he observed. And consequently, coaching usually happens at the workplace. Okay. Now, another one, teaching is not also mentoring. The focus of teaching is just to impart knowledge and information through instruction and explanation. So sometimes the goal of teaching is let the student usually pass the test. So we cannot say that when we teach, we are mentoring. Another one is counseling. Counseling is, for me, it's not also mentoring. Counselor uses listening and questioning to build self-awareness and self-confidence. So counseling cannot comprise mentoring. Although part of the mentoring, we teach, we counsel, we coach. But if we do those things, that is not comprising the mentoring. So mentoring is more on based on relationship. The role of mentor is to build capability. Developmental mentor helps the learner to discover their own wisdom by encouraging them to work towards career goals and self-reliance. It means mentoring is deeper than just teaching. It established in relationship. So I thought this for a while, that we cannot achieve true discipleship by just preaching to the congregation. We cannot achieve true discipleship by just lecturing. We cannot achieve true discipleship by just teaching. But I believe that true discipleship can be attained by mentoring. I see that the word mentoring is being used more on, although we use in the church, but it is used even in the secular. But equal to the mentoring is also the term discipleship. I see the picture of discipleship and mentoring as equal. The only thing, mentoring is a word that oftentimes used in the secular leadership. But this is how we empower our youth. So mentoring is technically holistic. To say holistic mentoring, mentoring itself is holistic. Why? Because mentoring, we have spiritual accompaniment. It means that we join with that person. We do not just pray for them, but we are praying with them. Our life example, it means that we show to the mentee how we live as Christian. Another one is we have this physical accompaniment. It means that we join with them in the activities. We go together as like Jesus Christ. He went together with his disciples for more than 3 years. Another thing is the moral accompaniment. It means you help to have a life of commitment. And another one is the social support. You help the needs of their family, the school family, the church family, help healthy relationship, help in choice of partner. Those are the things that comprising the mentoring. Now, the practical mentoring is this. I would like just to fast forward. so that we could see if you are a choir director, of course, you will mentor young musician to become choir director. The elder will mentor young leaders to become elders. And that's the whole point of mentoring. Now, I would like to introduce I like this model, very basic. There are, I think, three basic model of mentoring. I will not mention the other three, but the apprenticeship model of mentoring, I like it because it seems that this is the way Jesus did to the disciples. The concept of apprenticeship mentoring is this: I do, we do, you do. But I want to elaborate further so that you can see. First, the I do. I, as a leader, I do things, and then your mentee will just watch. It means you will observe. And after several observation, then you proceed to another phase. And that is the I do, you help. You allow the person to help, to assist you in your work. For example, you are preaching, and then let the person assist you. You allow him to be on stage to read the Bible or to assist in whatever you do as a pastor. Then later on, as the mentee able to observe you and help you, you allow him to do, but you are there to assist him. And if he was able to master the skills that you want him to do, then the mentee will do, you do, and then the leader will watch. So I think this is what Jesus Christ have done. The apprenticeship model that he showed first how to do the ministry. Then at a certain point, he let him be assisted with the disciples. And later on, he delegated the work, but he assisted. And finally, he commissioned them later. And the disciples do the job. And later on, he just watch. So this is how we empower our young people. I would like to introduce also my own model of discipleship. I call this one team learning output model. It has 4 parts, and the first one is transformational learning. The second one is experiential learning. The third is associational learning. And the fourth one is motivational learning. I make it in the acronym of TEAM so that we can remember it immediately. It is easy for us to remember the word team. But I believe that the disciples were created as a team. And so the mentoring process of Jesus Christ as a team, and I see it first as the goal or the output of learning is transformational. I would discuss why it is transformational. So the transformational is he set goals for personal growth and learning. The goal that we need to do for a person is not just to met the our objectives, but for the person to be transformed first and to equip him, transform him so that he will be suited to accomplish the goals that he needs to do. So I will not discuss more on that. The second is experiential. We believe that the one of the most effective learning is through experience. We experience the activity, the ministry, the mission. So we allow mentee to experience church ministries and mission. So after that, we reflect on the experience that we have together with our mentee, the lesson learned for future application. Another one is associational learning. We we allow these people to learn through associating with us. Build an effective personal and professional relationship with your mentee. It means that you don't just teach, you don't just instruct them, but you are doing things together. You are with him, coaching, instructing. It's a relationship. So you serve also as a role model of behavior so that he can copy. This is called associational learning. This is what Christ did. And the last is the motivational learning. Well, you seek opportunities for intentional conversation. It means you encourage mentee that goals are reachable and failures are part of growth and learning. So what's the whole point? The point is try the youth in the church. Give them the key as if you are giving the key to the youth to drive the car. It means when you give the key, he is in charge of the well, and you in charge him to run the machine. Permit them to drive the machine, allowing our young people that they will take the church in driving the machine. Permit them to make mistakes also, because in some we do not see that our young people are perfect. They are students and they need to grow. And so we must have tolerance for mistakes and make the mistake be a learning lesson for our mentee, and give them the sense of belonging to the church family. So what to do? Have a strong will of the community to welcome our young people. Help the congregation develop dedicated and trained mentors. Invite our young people to participate in events that will strengthen them spiritually, intellectually, and physically. Then encourage and allow them to organize activities, camps, sports events. It means you give them the key to do planning for the programs, and give them the opportunities to lead the church. Even eldership in the church. We need to encourage that our churches should have youth elders to lead the program of the church. And lastly, appoint young people in diverse positions of the church and train them to perform. They will do better and better each time they try. I believe that mentoring is, shall I say, proactive. Another one, it is intentional. Another one is mentoring needs a commitment for the mentor to stay and be patient with our mentee or the young people. And it needs sacrifice for our young people, for the sake of our young people, for the sake of the church, for the sake of the future of the church, and for the sake of the mission. And that's why, in conclusion, young people have plenty of strength, energy, and ideas. And as they usually have time, they can commit themselves fully. And I see a lot of young people, they volunteer freely, free of charge to the church. The sooner the young person feel needed and important, the more loyal they become, and the more difficult it will be for them to leave our church. So the importance and the necessity of effective mentorship cannot be overstressed. Without training in a second rung of leadership in ministry, the work of the church will suffer. A Joshua must follow Moses. An Elisha must succeed Elijah. No one can remain a leader forever, and no organization can succeed in its mission without adequate provision for the next round of leaders. And that is where mentoring counts. And finally, in Evangelism 3:51, it says, after individuals had been converted to the truth, they need to be looked after. These newly converted ones need nursing, watchful attention, help, and encouragement. This should not be left alone. They need to be educated, to be kindly dealt with, to be led along, and to be visited and pray with. I hope that our discussion this afternoon gives us an idea of how important mentoring our young people. We need to mentor them. We need to have a strong future of our church. And we need the power and the energy of our young people. And if they are neglected, we are just losing a lot of opportunities of our young people's creativity, opportunities that we can utilize their strength, opportunities of a great, success in the mission that God has entrusted to us. Because I believe that our young people will be the one who will finish the work that God entrusted to us in this world. Thank you so much, and it's a blessing to be with you, and it's a blessing to share with you thoughts on mentoring.
Amen. Praise the Lord, Pastor Von John. The challenge is so clear, and again, this is such a beautiful presentation. We are thankful for the presentation, Pastor Von. You have clearly emphasized the importance of mentoring in the church. Of course, the initiative will come to the leadership, the elders of the church, the senior youth leaders of the church. And thank you so much for uh, giving us those important points, those salient points that needs to be considered. The difference between mentoring, coaching, and stuff like that, and counseling, that is very necessary in uh, understanding our roles in the church effectively, especially in mentoring our young people. Thank you so much, Pastor Von. Pastor Von, uh, because of that, we cannot just afford to, I mean, let you finish without appreciation. Allow us to give you this certificate of appreciation. The citation reads, the Southern Asia Pacific Division Adventist Youth Ministries proudly present the certificate of appreciation to Pastor Vonjan Sanchez as Central Philippine Union Conference Youth Director for sharing his precious time and expertise in the topic mentoring to the Adventist youth of the Southern Asia Pacific Division during the Senior Youth Leaders Training given this 23rd day of July 2022 during the SYL 10-hour seminar held on Zoom. Signed, Pastor Ron Hinibago, our humble SSD youth servant. Thank you so much, Pastor Von.
Thank you also for this opportunity and for the certificate.
Pastor Von, we'd like you to stay a little bit
Yeah.
together with Pastor Ron because we have questions here. And these questions are relevant to your presentation. The first question we have here is about our local and union conferences challenges. It says here, how can SSD or the local unions and conferences break the chain of power retention by the seniors? Often than not, when the when the old leader retires, the leadership vacuum remains hampering growth and sustainability, and we are well aware of this. The seniors needs to mentor the next generation. Again, going back to the question, how can our SSD and local unions and conferences break the chain of power retention by the seniors? Probably let's start with Pastor Von and then Pastor Ron.
I believe that we need a thorough education as far as leadership is concerned. Uh, I believe that that problem will persist until the end of time, because the problem is, the problem of pride, that people think that when you are an elder, you are sitting on the throne of a palace, that as long as you live, you are the king. So we need to emphasize how the church operates, and that we need the energy of our young people in order to finish the work. And we need to impart to them the leadership and give them the key so that we can finish the work. Because if 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 our leaders would remain as a perpetual leaders in our church until they die, and some of them in the ICU, they still believe that they are the elders. No, we need to emphasize to them, and we need to educate. Probably the education is the best way to emphasize that we need to share the leadership to the younger generation. I think Pastor Ron will have its share in that particular question.
Thank you very much. I think, yeah, I agree with Pastor Von that education really matters. And that's why we have SYL. I think SYL helps us, and many of those who are here are, we have a intergenerational population here in our training. We have young people, and we have already old people here, including us. So we have intergenerational here, and I think, but the model of leadership that I really love to observe and also experience is the 5 P's or 5 R's of John Maxwell leadership. It's like a ladder of leadership.
Yeah, the position.
Yeah, the one is the first R. Let me use the R's. Right. Okay, as an elder, you have the right to be followed, or a pastor, you have the right to be followed. Youth director, you have the right to be followed. But if you stay there for a long time without relationship, you cannot, sustain your leadership. So you need to go up to the next R, which is relationship. Right, then relationship. You need to have a relationship with the people you are leading. An elder having a relationship with the leaders or members or youth directors to his young people. And then after the relationship, you need to have result. Yeah, you see, result. So your relationship should have result. Yeah, without the result, you're just enjoying yourself together. Yeah, so that is what Jesus Christ has the right to be followed, but he had relationship with his disciples, and they have a result in their ministry. And then the next R is reproduction. You need to reproduce yourself. Yeah, the senior youth leaders, you need to reproduce yourself. Yeah. So I'm your youth director, youth servant until 2025. If there will be someone whom God will call to replace me in SSD, I would be happy. And I know there are so many here in SSD youth directors who can lead. And one of the principles of leadership that I like for Rizal, there is a book called Leadership from Rizal, Jose Rizal point of view. One is indispensable. There is no leader who is indispensable. We are all dispensable. Okay, we lead now, and later on others will lead. So we should not feel that we are indispensable. We are all dispensable. We can, so that's why we we need to lead. We need to involve others, and we should not be what do you call that, insecure when there are leaders around us that are potential leaders. We need to involve them. Actually, don't like I'll not give this person a chance to lead. Probably he will replace me. No, give those people a chance to lead with you. And when you invite these people who really are strong leaders, your leadership becomes strong also, because they have leadership potential. So you need to reproduce yourself. And then the last R is respect. So people will respect you because of what you have done to the organization. So right relationship, result reproduction, and respect. So I hope we can educate our leaders that they are dispensable and that they need to reproduce themselves. And like Moses reproducing Joshua, like what Pastor already gave us examples a while ago, Pastor Von, many biblical examples for us to follow.
Amen.
Another, Sharon, probably a more aggressive way, we need to create a policy that in the eldership, there should be youth elders. And in the departments, we will create also policy that there should be youth in certain departments so that we can be more aggressive in imposing that our young people will share the baton of leadership in our church.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think we don't have yet that one. I think we need to create, for youth elders, we are encouraging them. But I think, we can lead the church on, there was one a church here in Tubuan. The elders there gave the leadership to young people, to young persons. So it's good. They are leading. And the elders are now, just there, guiding these youth elders, how they are doing and how they are leading. Yeah, thank you very much for that.
Amen. And that is really true, Pastor. I was just, remembering two songs in my mind while you are talking about, leaders should not be immovable. We are taught, no? Remember going back in our seminary, we are told to sing Anywhere with Jesus. That's the ideal. Anywhere with Jesus, I can safely go. But then once you're in the position and you love it so much, you will say, I shall not be moved. So that is now the problem.
Yeah.
So, Pastor, first we have yes or no question here. This will be for Pastor Ron, and then we will go to the other two crucial questions here that is related to the presentation of Pastor Von. And the first question, Pastor, is not really he was just wondering if wearing the Master Guide uniform with SYL neckerchief is still okay.
As of now, okay, regarding that, I just forgot my neckerchief, the blue one. That is what Pastor Joby and the rest of the youth directors back then approved to, for SSD. So that is our I think uniform. I don't know, Pastor Vonjan, if you had an action back then, approving that the blue one for SSD.
What I know in the past, we choose the blue because in the I think NAD or in the GC they use the yellow.
Yeah.
We choose probably to be different and to be identified. We choose blue in the SSD.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. Also, at least we have that one, that blue one. If you don't have, because we have in SSD already, you just we for the union directors, you can order from SSD so that you can provide your young people and leaders. Okay, there are several, I think, concerns on the chat box. Pastor Shepherd, please.
I'm recording it, and the other one here is that what if someone already took 10 hours SYL seminar last 2019? Will there be an expiration to that if he wasn't able to comply the requirements even now?
Yeah, for that one, actually the minimum year is 1 year for SYL. If they are master guides, less than 1 year, because some of the requirements they have done already. But I think 3 years. I think 3 years is the maximum. I hope that it will not very far, completing the requirements, or else you need to at least, at least listen again to the lectures about the SYL. But if it's like within 3 years, I think that would not make a difference. You can proceed to fulfilling the other requirements.
I think, Pastor Ron, we need to emphasize that the 10-hour seminar, leadership seminar, is equivalent to the basic staff training course
Yes,
of
yes,
Pathfinder.
yeah.
It doesn't mean that you have gone through with the 10 hours or the basic staff training, you will be invested. In the same manner, it's the same with the SYL. The 10 hours is part of the requirements, and it will take us 1 year, a minimum of 1 year to
Yes.
accomplish the
Yeah,
requirements.
I think this is the date for yeah, before we go to the next question on 2023, at least for you to know, it will be I think July 28 to 29 to 30. That would be the investiture, hybrid investiture for those people who joined through this one. So we will keep monitoring you, and so that we can
Pastor Ron.
yes.
The other question here, there are two important questions here, but the other one says, how are the actual role of, the role of Israel in local church, as well as what activities and scope in leadership of Israel in the church? I think you have shared the link, Pastor. We will just require them to look at the link, because all the descriptions, this is a broad question, and we will just share to them the link later. Now, the next question is, there was someone here that says, I am at present training MGTs in like more or less 10 districts in Davao Mission. At the moment, we have more or less 150 MGTs or Master Guide in training, when in fact I require them to attend this 10-hour seminar. My question is, can we do Master Guide and SYL training together? And am I qualified to guide them as they go along with the curriculum? I am a Master Guide only, and also a theology graduate, but working in the academic side. Thank you, Pastor.
Okay. Pastor Juan, do you have something to say about that?
You know what we did in CPUC, because this is what I learned from Pastor Yabot before, that of course we were commissioned. I think the right term for the investiture for the SYL is commissioning. It was taken, the term was taken from the, you know, the OIM before. If they graduate the OIM, they will be commissioned. And the SYL is later on was you know, created as a program for the church. And so the term there, the graduation is commissioning. What he instructed to us to choose leaders who are qualified to be SYL, the youth directors, to choose leaders, although they were not fully trained for that, and then commission them to replicate. But of course, those are chosen leaders that have experienced the youth ministry, because they will pioneer the work for the youth ministry. Because I believe that the youth directors cannot monitor every, you know, aspirants. And so we need to empower first the pioneering work, and then those pioneer SYL will do the imposition of the requirements to the rest of the young people in the mission or conferences or in the union.
Okay. Let me say something about that. Can I share screen so it would be easier for me to answer that question? Yeah, I think there's nothing wrong if you want to do the requirements both master guides and SYL, but please know the distinction. The master guide will be leading the adventurers and pathfinders. You cannot go like a master guide, you go to SYL and lead. SYL leaders lead the ambassadors and young adults. Not SYL go to adventurers and pathfinders. So there should be the distinction. So there's nothing wrong making master guides SYL and SYL master guides. But being a master guide is not a requirement to become SYL. SYL stands alone. you can be as SYL without being a master guide. But I just would like it to be clear with you on service, so you will not have a problem. So there's nothing wrong if you want and if they have time. But there is wisdom also if we take one and take another for so that we can have a quality training.
And another pastor, excuse me, Sherwin, another pastor, it will be very advantageous for those who are taking master guide because there are a lot of similarities in the requirements
Yes,
in the
easier
SY.
for them.
All right, thank you so much, Pastor Ron, Pastor Von. Well appreciated. Thank you so much for enlightening all of us here to, know the important details we need to understand. We'll now proceed to